Hello and good morning, and welcome to the second forum day of ArabNet Beirut. We have a very interesting lineup today, so we hope you stay with us till the end. And now to kick it off, we're going to start with our first panel on online video production. Historically, driven by revenues from production of TV commercials, video production companies now have tremendous opportunities online, from creating their own shows to developing shows for the brands they work with. ArabNet Beirut 2015 will explore the new opportunities for production houses as online video continues to grow. Fawzi Rahal, founder and managing partner of Gamutt, a strategic digital consultancy, will be moderating this next panel on online video production. Please welcome him on stage. Mr. Fawzi, please, the stage is yours and your panel also.
Ladies and gentlemen. So as they're sitting, I'd like to welcome my panelists, Ahmed Abbas, CEO, Chief Operating Officer at Qsoft, Rudolf, Managing Partner at OliveTree Productions. Next in line is Rudolf Jabre, Founder and CEO of OLN, the Online Lifestyle Network. And last and very far away, Hervé, Cuviliez, CEO at Diwanee. Just like the way the panel was introduced, today we would like to look at mainly the opportunities for production houses to grow. We're going to do that by, first of all, getting to know how our panelists have reached where they are today. We're also going to find out a little bit more about, what are the opportunities out there, what kind of numbers and figures do they have today, and what does the future look like? Before we start our panel, before we get to know our panelists, I'd like to get to know you guys first. And I'm sure we're all excited about some of the things that we'd like to know about you. In a show of hands, I'd like to know who watches regular TV? And by regular TV, I mean, scheduled programming, you turn on your TV, you watch shows. Can you just keep your hands up for a second? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, that's like 20% of the panel. Who watches, so keep your hands up, please. Anyone under the age of 30, drop your hands. That's just 3 people under 30 who watch TV, okay? Who watches English content, whether it's on TV or not on TV? Okay, whoa. English content not on TV. Arabic content, not on TV. It's become a quiz. So English and Arabic content is very similar. Any one of you watches content on mobile or tablet devices? Most of the people who watch online TV watch them on mobile. Anybody watches video on demand? So do you pay for content? Yes. Wow. Do you pay for, what do you pay for? Netflix? Netflix? No, okay. iTunes? What? Hulu? No? What would you pay for?
Vimeo.
There's subscribing on YouTube now.
Can I get a show of hands of anyone who doesn't watch Netflix or Hulu? What kind of shows do you pay for and what do you pay for? So from iTunes? Anything other than iTunes? Mobile TV. Salat, video on demand, mobile TV, okay. All right, that's not too bad. So who uses a smart box or a smart TV at home? An Apple TV, a Chromecast, a Fire TV, a Google TV, whatever it is, a TV? Very little. Okay, I think we have a bit of now we know you can get to know them. That's like a one-on-one. Let's start, from up close to me and all the way out. Ahmed Abbas, Chief Operating Officer of Qsoft. Welcome to the panel.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like you to give us a little bit of background of how you guys started and where you are today, in about 2 minutes if you can.
All right, quickly. So we started on YouTube right after the Arab Spring with a satirical show inspired by Jon Stewart's
closer to the
Daily
mic,
Show. And boom, I mean, it was a huge success on YouTube, but it was at the right time. People loved it, and then networks started talking to us. And we landed several TV deals. We focused very much on al-Barnamij, and now we're focusing more on creating more talents and taking them to the next level like we did with Bassem.
Okay.
And we're coming up with more shows on that.
Excellent. Rolly, that was a lot less than 2 minutes.
So we're a video production company,
Okay.
and we specialize in branded content.
Okay.
We started in 2009, and 2 years we started as a servicing company, and 2 years later we realized the importance of branded content, and we started focusing on that.
Okay. Rudolf.
Okay, we started OLN in 2011. First we started with Nawa'im, then we enrolled another 5 websites. Now we have a network of 6 sites. One of them is OLN TV, which is a video on demand platform that syndicates on the other websites that we have. We started producing 40 videos a month. Now we're producing 250 videos a month, and we're planning to reach 500 within the end of the year. In terms of reach of the videos, we started with less than 500,000 a month. Now, within this quarter, we're reaching 15 million video views a month within less than 1 year and a half.
Hervé.
We started with a text and image portal.
A text and image portal.
Yeah, 5 years ago, and then we started to move in video 2 years and a half ago, and we got MCM contract with YouTube 24 months ago, and now we have studios in Beirut, full team production, the full setup.
Excellent. Let's talk about, and again, the same topic of how revenue today from TV and from traditional advertising is flowing online, and how that kind of creates a trend. Is that what's going on? I'd like to start with you, Rudolf, and try to understand what is your understanding or explanation of this shift from traditional to online, with a better mic, hopefully.
Yeah, okay. It has been always, the old medium is always the content of the new medium. For example, we started with the books, where the content of movies became the content of TV. Now TV is the content of what we call pull platform, being OTT, being Apple TV, being web TV, or mobile TV. So that shift is going on. It has been going on, and those shows, they are not shows anymore. They are particles. So instead of having a 30-minute show, now we've seen segments of few minutes, and those few minutes started to become the social, if I might say, initiate the social discussions. So us, as a digital producers, we look more on producing those particles where they can create social communication around them.
Okay. Qsoft, Ahmed. You guys have three main entities that handle video, more or less. Can you explain them to us real quick?
So we basically have a holding company, which is Qsoft Holding, and
Okay.
then there's Big Productions that handles our production operations.
Big Productions.
Yeah, and this company focuses more on TV production.
Okay.
Then we have the TubeStar network, which is our talent development and discovery platform. This is where we find new creators online and try to take them to the next step, whether it's an online
Okay.
production or a TV production or whatever works best for them. And then we have EG Theaters, which is the company that we started to do theater TV productions and to manage basically Bassem, because Bassem was a project that grew very, very quickly, and we had to get in investments, we had to get in a lot of people on board, so we had to create a company for that specially. So this is mainly the three entities we have. And on top of that, we have our internal YouTube team that handles all our YouTube business.
Okay. I also want to jump to Hervé and talk about Diwanee for a second. You give us an idea about your portals and about also the kind of divisions that you have within your network?
To produce video? The way what we try to do, it's because we talked about briefly, but it's let's be honest, today if you produce a decent video inventory, there is a massive shift. The money is coming online, but still to produce a decent content at a break-even price is still complicated. So what we try to do is when we produce something is try to have different angle on the production. So how we can insert brands, where it will go, and the production team have to pitch every lineup to make sure that at least we see a possibility of a return on investment. I'm not talking like the next 2 months, because depending if you're more on a show-based type of content, you know, like 2-3 months going to be the where you need to have the return on investment. If you're more on the how-to, what we call how-to, the small videos, you know, like after 18 months, they're going to still producing revenue. So we start to try to have the modelization on how we're going to make money with those videos.
Okay.
And once you understand this better, you can be a bit more bold in the way you're going to produce and taking more risk, or at least calculated risk. So that's the way we work.
How do you jump from making 1 or 2 videos to making 100 videos a month? You got a lot of money, I guess.
No, yeah, you burn your money. you take your risk. It's content production is about calculating the risk. The more you do that, the more you understand the dynamics, the more you're confident in the distribution of your content. So meaning how many views this content gonna have. So once you're confident into that, you can scale your business. So when we started with YouTube, it was a bet. And it was first a choice, like do we go or not with YouTube, because you can see them at competition, you can see them at partner, they surely both, because they're fighting for the same advertising money, but the choice we took was, anyway, YouTube is here to stay, YouTube is a major platform, it's like betting on the drop of Google search. I have other fight to take. So we went with them, and at the same time we're developing an inventory where we always had a strategy of having verticals. So we don't try to have every content under one roof. We have luxury beauty, we have parenting, we have food, extra. Everything is separated. So we're doing exactly the same thing for video. We're embedding the video. We don't try to reproduce a platform. So if we want a platform, we go on YouTube. If we want a more niche audience, we push the brands toward inside the publication we already have, but on the video format.
On top of whatever you had that was a text and image platform.
Exactly.
So basically, to kind of like really get to the point, you cannot grow organically by just making 1 video today and 2 tomorrow and 3 the day after.
No, because you have an economy of, you have some fixed cost. If you really get serious about producing 500 video a month, you need to have studios, you need to have teams, you need to have your camera, your lighting, everything. So you need to have a certain scale to be able to amortize that investment.
Rudolf, do you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree with Hervé, but
I'd like closer to the mic.
okay, I agree definitely with Hervé on many points. Basically, we started, as I mentioned, developing 40 videos, but now we're producing 300 videos. So why did we do that? So there must be a plan, there must be a strategy, and definitely there might be monetization. So first, we said, okay, what's the plan, what we want to reach, what are we producing, where we're going to put those videos. So we started thinking how we're going to distribute those videos to reach a certain number of views, so the brands get notice those videos, and then they start to advertise. So definitely in the beginning, you need to invest, then you look at your case studies, you look at the reach, and then you start to engage brands being on a pre-roll or being on a native type of video content. So the plan, if I want to produce 3 videos and then I can go and present myself as a video network, that can never happen. And even if I produce 100 videos, that can never happen. So what we did is we identified the type of video content that we're producing. Is it a trending type of content? Is it a how-to video? Or is it a lifestyle video? Or is it an SEO-oriented video? Or being a native type of content? So each of those type of videos have their own monetization aspect and their own monetization scheme, which we work on. So moving from, today, if you tell me, is there an opportunity? Definitely, video advertising is growing today. Most of our video inventory, we have more than 10 million video views a month, and I can tell you 90% is already booked. So there is definitely a demand if you're producing the right content and if you're communicating with the right audience. To reach that, it's a long way, and you can definitely make it shorter by doing the right things.
Excellent. Let's take a short break since we're in the mood of TV and take a quick look at a short compiled video that the ArabNet team has put together to showcase some of the videos that you guys produce and put together.
ثورة 25 يناير فجرت الكثير من الطاقات الإبداعية لدى الشعب المصري. الحقيقة بتكلم على الطاقات التمثيلية الرائعة اللي طلعت على شاشة التلفزيون طوال فترة الثورة. منها مثلا اللي كان بيعبر عن خيال واسع.
CIA مخابرات الأمريكية.
منها اللي كان مملوء بالغضب والهستيريا.
ولا أي حد إحنا بنحب مصر مستعدين نموت فيها.
تامر من غمرة اتصل بالتلفزيون المصري من خلال دموعه وآهاته في ليلة مليئة بالشجون.
البلد اتبهدلت واحنا نبقى فيها احنا السبب، يعني احنا
يعيط؟
بعده ما بيحكي بده يعيط.
ماما قصدها بيبكي. بصي جبت له ايه من ماركس اند سبنسر؟ حبيب قلبي
حلوين.
ثانك يو طنط سعاد. نفسي اخده في حضني حبيبي رأفت، اسمه لايق عليه قوي.
صراحة نحن بعدنا محتارين شوي.
كريم عارف كويس قوي رأيي ورأي والده في الموضوع ده حبيبتي، بس شد حيلكوا قبل ما يوصل الجامعة.
عليا يلا قومي اليوم يومك.
علي ما بدي اطلع بوجه انا اليوم.
معك حق.
ليش شو عم بيصير؟
اليوم ما فيهاش نشوطة بعليا.
نسيت كليا.
لا انت اللي ما عم تعرفي تعملي شغلك، انا ما بعرف كيف اتكلت عليكي من الاول. استقالتك اليوم؟ لا انا اللي رح اعطيك اياها، من اليوم استغنيه عن خدماتك خلص.
ما كان فيكي تنطري شوي قبل ما تستغني عن خدماتها؟
كشفت شركة مايكروسوفت عن سوار ذكي للياقة البدنية باسم مايكروسوفت باند. يتيح مايكروسوفت باند للمستخدم أيضاً معاينة رسائل البريد الإلكتروني الواردة وحالة الطقس، بالإضافة لعرض تنبيهات التقويم.
كونتورينج إن كان ولا 3D إن كان، هول كلهم موجودين بفن المكياج. المكياج خدعة بصرية.
من أهم الأشياء اللي بتسرع ظهور التجاعيد هو التعرض المزمن للشمس. أما لمحبي التسمر فأنا بنصحهم استعمال المستحضرات المسمرة بدل من استعمال الزيوت على الجسم والتعرض المزمن للشمس.
هاي أنا نيسا. اليوم بالفيديو رح نعمل تأمل، رح ننقل حالنا لصورة فيها شجر، فيها ورد، فيها عصافير، رح ننقل حالنا للطبيعة.
I guess this kind of covers the kind of topics that you guys were talking about, from how-tos to branded content, to the different elements in the target audiences and the verticals that we've been discussing, and I have my notes on the podium. But what I wanted to ask, and this question goes mostly to Rolly, is we see varied qualities of production online and even on TV usually. But when it comes to online, where more or less it's a flat audience, everybody watches everything more or less, how do you manage that kind of quality with your brand? So if your brand comes in and tries to limit that quality or tries to ask for quality that is unachievable within a budget, how do you make sure that the audience gets, you know, the quality that the brand needs to portray?
Well, mostly if you want, online now is more about the content than the quality. Although brands require a certain quality because they are used in advertising to this quality. So it's very, if you want, we're not spending any more money on achieving the perfection of one shot, which we used to do in advertising. It's more about the content that we're filming.
Can you explain to the audience what it means to spend the money on every shot, from, like, you know, the post-production?
So typically,
number of
a
takes.
TV commercial would take a day of shoot or a couple of days or 4 days for a 30-second. So you spend a whole day shooting a 30-second commercial.
Okay.
So each shot takes like 2 hours to shoot, between lighting and filming and getting the right blockings from the actors and getting the right acting. And now we're not doing that anymore in online content because it resembles more a bit the TV, if you want, or the documentary model, because in one day you can film 2 episodes or 1 episode or less. It really depends on what type of content you're doing, because if you are in a studio doing how-to videos or people just talking to camera, then you can cover a lot of videos in one day, a lot of episodes. And if you're doing fiction or drama, then you need to cover locations and casting and actors. Then you can do like 2-3 minutes a day.
Okay.
And there's something that's interesting in production, is that there is cheap, fast, and quality. You can get 2 of the 3, but you can never get the 3. You can get good and cheap, but
So
it
price,
can be fast.
speed, and quality.
Yeah.
Pick 2 of the 3. When it comes to online video.
You can get if you want volume.
Do you agree? It goes to everything, even on TV. Given that you guys have some TV experience, price, quality, and speed. I like that.
Yeah, if you want volume,
it's difficult to get the 3 together.
Okay.
If you want volume and fast, which is the online now, it has to be cheap quality, you know, or it has to be expensive. So.
I mean, you could do it fast, but it has to be very expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
But which would not work with the online
with
economics, because online economics are simply about how to do it the best way in the cheapest way possible.
When do you draw the line? When do you say this is good enough? When your client says it's good enough?
Honestly, I mean, it's the same question, what is a viral video or what is a good video? You never know when a video is good.
No, I'm not saying good enough in terms of the content. Or the subject or the topic. I'm talking from in terms of production point of view.
You'll be surprised. The most successful YouTube channel right now in Egypt is a guy called Shadi Sroor. Shadi has about 100 million views in the past 6 months. He's more successful than Bassem on YouTube.
Okay.
And I'm working with him. And for example, Shadi has done videos with his webcam, and he's done videos with his mobile phone. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I can't draw the line, honestly.
Okay. Audience, do you care about the quality of the production of the video that you're watching? Show of hands. Who cares about the quality of the video that they're watching?
Just if I may.
Yes.
Because we keep on comparing the quality on TV and the quality online, etc. And we try to put the TV online. And I think it's more important. What you need to look at is what you were saying with the video shot with mobile phone is what people are looking for.
That's what I was checking.
No, in the sense of...
In terms of topics.
Yeah, in terms of topics and who's sending me the message. For example, if you get back in makeup or how-tos, people are more comfortable to have a more peer-to-peer relation. So if you do a video, if you have like someone in his own house sharing his own cooking tips, it's going to work much better than having a brand sharing his own cooking tips. So I think you need to adapt your standard of quality based on what kind of message you want to achieve or convey. Because if it's just how-tos, it's connecting people together, your job in terms of video. So having someone a mom at home sharing as cooking tips will always work better than the best quality production you can have with a brand.
So there are types of videos that are a lot easier to scale than others.
Okay, just
yes.
If we can identify what means by budget. I think here all the people on the set, we produce videos. So let's identify the price. For example, from a 3 to 5 minutes type of video content, which is a how-to video, how much would it cost Hervé, how much would it cost me, the expert really, how much it would cost her. And so if you look at the comparison and then see out of those videos, you can produce a video in $500, 3 to 5 minutes, or you can produce a $50,000. So today, the quality of that content from a $55,000 production for 3 minutes that we produce now, we're launching for mother and child. Would you tell me, from a monetization perspective, does a pre-roll inventory can satisfy that 50,000? I'll tell you definitely not. This is a pure native type of content where a brand came on board, he had a budget of a certain amount, and then doing a production for $50,000 for an online video, not TV, online video. They came on board and they look at more of the reach of that specific video. So today, if he's producing or I'm producing a video for $500, if I'm producing per month 350, my challenge is how can I make that $500 a $50? How can I make the proper setup so anybody wants to produce 500 videos a month can produce it with the best quality at this. This is, I think, the challenge that we're working on.
Okay, and when it comes to that challenge, how is it that brands work with you when it comes to this? Do they come for price? Do they come for quality? Do they come for topics? If you are pitching against each other, what are the, and I'm the brand who's, taking a look at your proposals.
I think one of the main things that we did with DMS, and this is why we didn't choose to go with YouTube, is when you're selling a video, it's not just distributing a video. You need to work more on the creative aspect, how you want to sell those videos, because you have a schedule of a grid that's coming for the coming 6 months. So that grid, if you don't present it well with the band, if you don't get their feedback on those type of programs that you produce, if you don't engage them, this is the way we do it. We engage them 3 months in advance saying, okay, this is our grid, Those are the content that we want to produce. What's your feedback? What are your campaigns? How we can integrate them together?
Okay, let's talk about them for a second. And I'd like to go through at least one, I mean, not the production house who doesn't create content for herself, but for brands, but for at least all three of you who host your own videos and have access to your analytics. In terms of viewership and audience, those people, or them, where do they come from? Mostly Middle East, North Africa, clearly majority of your content is Arabic. Can we have a breakdown? Saudi Arabia, percentage.
Number one is usually Saudi Arabia or Egypt, Morocco. These are the biggest three in my opinion.
Can we just look at Saudi Arabia for a second? Percentage of audience from Saudi Arabia.
Depends on the genre, but you're looking at least at a 30%.
At?
At a 30%.
30%.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia.
70%.
Saudi
Yeah,
Arabia.
almost 70%.
70%.
But again, it's back on, I guess when you producing and we producing, you have Saudi in mind because you know it's your main market. So you can influence also. Well,
yes, I'm not saying that the majority of the audience who likes your content is Saudi. You're making that
videos,
content
you
for
have three
them.
things.
But I'm trying to get an idea of the brands and who they're targeting from that. Egypt.
Egypt is then the majority usually. It's 50% because our content
Because
is very Egypt-centric.
Egypt.
Egypt, definitely, it has.
It's part of a minority mix?
Also, if you look at, for example, the different distribution channels, if you look at our social pages, for example, you'll see the Egypt. Depends on the type of content.
Of
for
course.
example, cooking in
I'm
Egypt.
talking in average just for us
so,
to get an idea.
So there are different programs that are very popular in Saudi, and then you see some are popular in Egypt. So we can, in general, like Hervé mentioned, our main primary market is Saudi. This is where the monetization in terms of pre-roll inventory or in terms of CPM, this is the highest. This is, if you want to look at breaking even or generating revenue, you need to focus on that specific market.
Okay, so Saudi Arabia is more or less not just the biggest because you guys create content for it, but it's even because brands required and there is an audience that's there.
Absolutely.
Then comes the Gulf, I'm guessing, UAE, etc. For you guys?
Exactly.
Exactly, and then
So
it's more or less of a mix of everybody else.
It's kind of big because you have the population anyway. So even if you're not targeting really your
you're going to get a big numbers.
It's a big audience, so you get numbers. But you feel there is an amazing potential. That's something we're looking very carefully at.
Okay.
But again, it's we used to say to be successful, you have two audiences: the brands and the audience itself. So Saudi match the two criteria. You have the brand; they are eager to get into the video online video advertising in Saudi because it's a good way to reach on people, and you have the viewership as well. So that's a market where you can make money. GCC, you don't, maybe a bit for UAE, you produce specifically, but you try to scale your content production across the GCC because there is no way you can break even video production except the brand pay for everything.
Yes.
On Kuwait or Qatar, if you're in Arabic language, I mean, it's too small audience. It's a very niche, very valuable audience, but a very small audience.
Okay, that's fair enough. Let's talk about, commerce is clearly big these days, and I'd like to understand from each one of you, do your brands come with some sort of commerce-related activity as part of an objective? In other words, to reformulate this question, does content help drive sales? Let's try to start from the very far.
Like we say, does content drive sales directly? No.
You have, no. So just to give the audience
the
an idea,
needs
you guys
of
have a
the-
commerce portal and you guys produce content as well.
Yeah, we have an e-commerce on fashion, and we have the quite sizable audience on fashion as well. So the thinking was we're going to put an e-commerce, we're going to work together, they're going to work together brilliantly. It works in terms of synergies. So when it comes to content production, you have synergies. Because you're getting all the connection of the designers, you can do shooting, you can put your content on your publication, those kind of things. It works also on understanding better the behaviors of the user, and then you can remarket them for transformation on the e-commerce.
Okay.
But
So
the direct link, like you watch a dress, you click and you buy it, doesn't exist.
Okay. Does not exist, has not happened.
It's very minimal, very minimal.
So generally you showcase some content, then if anybody happens to be on the commerce side, you retarget them with
In fact,
the
we
related.
showcase some content. Then we have a data management platform below, so we're able to track across all publication. So when we refine you on the inventory, we're going to push you some advertising for the same designers, but on the e-commerce part.
But don't traditional advertising agencies clearly, claim that advertising is linked to sales? Yeah. Isn't every campaign?
But it's linked to sales. It's not directly linked. It's not. Yeah, there is a difference between influencing the behavior, purchase behavior, and having someone watching a video and say, oh, I want that $3,000 dress now.
Okay.
That's very different, huh? This working, step one is working. Step two, once every 10,000 visitors.
Rudolf, you have something to say.
Yeah, I disagree on that point that advertising doesn't bring revenues, that doesn't bring sales or nothing, because
I said directly.
Directly, yeah. I think indirectly, if you look at...
Let someone disagree with someone. It's okay. We've been agreeing with each other since we got on the stage.
if
Let them disagree with you, please.
I think it can bring even directly if it's put on the right platform. Today, if a visitor comes on my site or his site on Nawaam or being any other competing website, they are here to consume content, to read. In terms of behavior, they are not used to buy. If you put that, so in terms of advertising, even the purpose of advertising in our network is basically awareness. So brands, they don't expect to put a video for a certain product and then they expect their sales to increase. They use our ad placements to bring awareness. However, the same strategy applied on an e-commerce site, the same ad, if you put it and you link it on a product where a user is coming to buy, this is where it can bring directly sales. So if the same video you put on souk.com, where you're promoting a certain product, and then when you click on it, you can go and buy it, then definitely it will affect, and you can measure it.
Ahmed, you're agreeing with him.
Yeah, I agree. There are a few points I'm going to say. First of all, I mean, YouTube is the second largest search. I will mention YouTube a lot because this is where we started.
Important.
So it's the second largest search engine, and I think it does influence most of the decision making when it comes to buying anything. You watch, you just look at the product, you look at reviews for it, and then you take your decision.
Okay.
So that's one thing. The other thing, I'll mention two companies. They're related. Maker Studios, they're the largest MCN worldwide, and they have a merchandise division, so products that you can sell related to your IP or your brand are huge. Another company, which is Disney, 60% of Disney's revenues come from merchandise.
60% of the revenue comes from merchandise.
So that makes you
think... That kind of tells you about
so
why you're creating all this content. So that kind of tells you that
actually content is a main driver of many things. I mean, it's a status quo. It makes you basically impress yourself. So I think a lot of people are influenced by content, and they take decisions on buying a product based on the content they watch.
Do you think advertisers or brands that are working with you have an idea or have already or finally established an understanding of what works to sell or to even create that awareness? Do you find some resistance on what clearly you guys own the networks and you guys own the platforms and you guys are aware of every single figure and what works and what doesn't. The brands have another understanding of that clearly because they have their own research which is independent from yours.
Yeah, the brands have...
Where's the clash? Is there a clash?
No, but look, the brands are pretty mature. They understand, at least we're talking the big brands. They understand that you need to create your image, your awareness, and then that you're going to start to influence sales. So they don't come to you saying, I want everything. If you have a premium content site, a very niche audience, they're going to come to do the branding. If you have a more mass YouTube kind of thing, they're going to get closer to the purchase, inside the purchase funnel. So from what we see, they are mature on that. They don't come to you and say, look, even click-through rate, they look at it, but they're not looking especially for that. They look for and more for exposure. If you look at what we try to push now, it's how many times can your advertising have been exposed, how many times your advertising has been exposed. And that's what you should matter about. Does people really see your ads and what kind of share of screen do you have? So we worked a lot on having all the mobile optimization, having very large format on mobile, so people are seeing the brand. And that's why we try to value more and more and doing post-survey campaign. And we push a lot of advertisers like post-test your campaign online and you will see if there is an influence on the brand perception or not. But we're working on a stage of brand perception. I'm not working on a stage on, I'm going to drive 5% increase of sales tomorrow morning because you're advertising on my site. But today, the metrics are wrong. Checking for CTR, you're already into the purchase funnel. You should look at brand recall, change of perception, those kind of more intangible things. But once you get them, that's super important.
So you guys are contributing to the brand value and to the perception.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
I want to, before we open the questions to the audience, I want to get a little bit more of an understanding of how easy is it to shift a show from being on TV to online or vice versa. And I think, Ahmed, you have probably the most experience to answer that question.
It's very difficult. I mean, if you look at Egypt as an example, there were many shows after the Arab Spring that came out on YouTube, and some of them were even having more views than Al Barnamik. However, we went very systematically on this. We actually we knew that the format on YouTube would not be the same thing that would be able to do on TV. It had to be longer, so we went to a 20-minute format.
Okay.
And to do that, we had to study how late night shows are being done. And after the first season on TV, the network in Egypt, we were lucky enough that Jon Stewart actually recognized us, and he gave us a chance to go and see him and see his team and learn how actually late night shows.
So this wasn't a part of your strategy. This just happened as a coincidence.
I mean, to be very honest, we were very lucky. Of course, there were a lot of good people in the team. There were a lot of talented people. Bessim is great.
Obviously, you would not have gotten recognition had you not been good, but it wasn't
but
really
I mean,
intentional.
we were lucky with the time that people wanted to see an alternative kind of media. And at the same time, having the chance to go and see how the most watched late night show in the US, or on a cable at least, is being produced, and learn how this would be done, and then interpret that for the Egyptian market was very interesting. So we knew that the format had to be different. We had to make a longer format. The quality of the production changed, the research methodology changed, the team grew. So TV takes more resources, more time, it takes more money to make than online. And
does it generate more revenue?
Yes, definitely.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, of course.
Do you encourage people to take that attempt if they can?
I mean, what I encourage people to do is to definitely always test their products online, their brands, their ideas online, and if they have legs to stand on, to go to a bigger screen. Bigger screen doesn't mean always TV, by the way. If it has a better platform to stay on to reach more people, then this is good. Today, the better platform in our region, in Egypt on that time, was TV. It doesn't have to be the same in a few years, and it isn't for many platforms. For example, the most watched content on YouTube now, besides unboxing Kinder Surprise eggs, is PewDiePie, which is a gaming concept. Okay. And if you look at the numbers, it's amazing. So I don't know how this will sit on the device.
Saudi gaming numbers are scary. The Saudi gaming numbers are also equally scary.
So I think it really depends on the time you are in, and then the platform changes and depends on the content. So. Another example would be we also had a cooking show called Amira Fil Matbakh, which is now on CBC. We also started that one online. And converted, and she's one of the biggest 4 or 3 chefs now on CBC Sofra, which is a huge cooking channel in Egypt. So again, converting that to online was another changer for us, because you have to look at the format that will suit on TV viewing.
Clear. Thank you. Audience, questions? The lady was the super fast lady who raised her hand when I said the Q letter.
Hey.
Hi.
Thanks.
Your name, please.
Chantal.
Chantal. Hi, Chantal.
Okay. Hi. 3 quick questions. Okay. First, when it comes to forced ads or those forced little.
The pre-rolls.
Yeah, exactly.
Forced ads. Okay.
They are for me. I mean, when I'm going to watch something online and it makes me wait until I have to skip, especially when it has to buffer for half an hour, then that's a pain. And don't you feel that could impact the brand very negatively, first? Second, when it comes to technology that we are using to produce online content, it's very interesting to talk about budget, but at the same time it would be kind of laughable to say that we're going to shoot 4K when eventually when we're going to put it on YouTube, it's going to recompress it and probably play a bit with the final outcome. So I feel like when it comes to the technical side of it, there is a certain budget that we can sort of...
Okay, third question.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions.
And that's pretty much it. And the technical limitations, I mean, UAE and Saudi, of course, they are much better.
You're talking
with
bandwidth limitations.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So that too.
All right. So let's start with do pre-rolls, show of hands. Do pre-rolls affect brands or contribute negatively or positively to the video?
at the same time, there is advertising, but you're not paying for the content. So you cannot have it both ways. So I agree that the pre-roll is not, I'm not a super fan of pre-roll. Not sure it's going to stay forever. But for the moment, that's the only thing we found. And again, it's a bit annoying. It's new. Nobody complains anymore having their TV, their movies cut on TV for 10 minutes every 25 minutes in the US or something in the Middle East. So the free content comes at a price. The price is advertising. We try to work as best as we can to make it enjoyable or at least not too painful for the user. And that's why I come back to the pre-roll thing where I think it's a transitional format. It's putting what we knew on TV online. And when you talk to brands, they know they're going to go more into the content generally and try to be more the advertising more diffuse. But for the moment, if you want to watch content online, the only way you have is to pay it by watching some advertising. And unfortunately, we are here for the moment.
And the audience, I mean, I think one of the frustrations was that, especially in Lebanon, you either have to pay for watching that ad or actually wait longer for the technical challenge.
It's another debate, the bandwidth in Lebanon, but again, that's not a primary market for us.
No, I mean, and that's when the bandwidth becomes better.
Exactly, it's transitional.
It's
like
better.
your last question.
Quality in terms of 4K video, does YouTube reduce the quality? Does it recompress? What's the story with the quality on YouTube?
But
you said, why am I producing 4K video if I'm uploading it on YouTube and it's going to lose quality?
The screens of computer are not 4K. So even if YouTube doesn't compress it and send the 4K, your screen is not 4K. So that doesn't change anything.
But you wouldn't necessarily use a 4K camera if your videos are intended for online. There are several other cameras that you can use for online videos that can get a decent, good quality, but you would use 4K if you're shooting a film, a documentary, and then probably if you need to put it online, you need to compress it and live with it. But your aim wouldn't be 4K from the beginning if you know your videos are online. Anyways, nobody will give you the budget to get that camera.
Questions?
Yeah, you use a smaller scale camera, and even the production, the scale becomes smaller to be able to adapt to the budgets.
You know, when 15 years ago we were shooting with 28K we had small dial-up modem, so I guess your 4K question in 3 or 4 years gonna be not relevant anymore.
Resolution is gonna get better, etc. Questions, please, audience. The lady. Microphone?
In terms of financing, were you able to get some kind of government support, or would you envisage having something similar in the future for your industry? if you get to have a genie and a wishful wand that you can request your government.
They can start by the internet.
No, something particular to your production, not for the infrastructure.
I mean, there are governments that support. I mean, if in Abu Dhabi, if you are filming in 2 for 54, you get like 30% rebate of your production cost if you produce within Abu Dhabi, which is not cheap. But again, some people are doing that. So yeah, there are some governments in the region that are supporting. I'm sure there are different programs throughout the GCC and maybe here in Lebanon that I don't know of. But the one I can mention is 2 for 54 already support a lot of content creation. There are also some initiatives in Egypt where we see a lot of support even for feature films and independent productions.
But back to the point.
Not in Lebanon.
Okay.
Yeah. Back to the point, I prefer the government spend the money in infrastructure and we're going to take care of the cost of the content.
Yeah. The Lebanese government.
That's a good solution. Let them fix one and you'll take care of the other.
Exactly.
We are a private company. We don't need it. We're not supposed to take government money.
But
if they do a very good job in infrastructure, the money will flow in.
You just got $25 million in cash into your pocket injected, right?
Not directly in mine only.
But there are a lot of governments outside, for example, that are supporting the initiatives of content and the industry of content in Canada, in the US. They understand the potential of it and they're investing a lot in it and to push it forward.
Okay, I think the question was more related to the sad situation of this part of the world. Any more questions? I mean, I can keep going, but I'd like to get some ideas, some questions, things we didn't cover from the audience.
One in the back.
The gentleman at the back.
Hello, my name is Jad. If you notice lately, YouTube has been very popular as YouTuber and vloggers. They're making with YouTubers and vloggers.
Okay.
They're making a lot of money just by eating chocolate on YouTube. Some even have like 5 million views. I have no idea how they make it. And some other people have like very interesting ideas, like things you can do with your microwaves that you have never thought about.
Okay.
So when you think the Arab world will actually adopt that idea and start supporting YouTubers and vloggers? In the US, you have like Disney, you have many production companies that actually sponsor these YouTubers.
But all of your
Thank
friends
you.
here do
It
that
starts
as well.
by the actual YouTubers, and then the channels sponsor them or take them or foster them. So the talent in the Arab world, there are already people already posting on several type of different content. You know, people of lifestyle or food, and I think the more creators there are, the more talents start posting their things. This generates a healthier and a more creative general YouTube environment for the Arab world. So it also starts with the talents, and of course the channels would somehow they have a role of fostering talents and nurturing them and pushing them forward.
Yep, I'd like to add that we're currently looking for bloggers or content producers or talented people that they think their content can do well online. We can produce for them, and this is actually we're rolling now. We're doing a big campaign for that. So if anybody is interested to be part of the platform, you're more than welcome to apply.
Usually, how does that process work? Do you accept scripts? Do you accept a script and the talent? Is it a mix of anything? Do you help
It's a
them?
mix of everything. If the actual blogger has already an existing platform or has existing videos, he can send us links, or he upload on the website, or he can send us script. If we look at it, if we like it, we can produce it.
You have more or less of a
I want to add
start
something.
creation.
Yeah, actually, usually the content comes, then the advertiser comes. So some numbers, like we upload like 14.5 million watch minutes a day here. Watch 14.5 million watch minutes a day here on YouTube in the region, and this is like about 5% of the world's YouTube content, and we only produce like 2%. So there's a content deficit here from the Arab world, Arabic content. And I think the more we see of content, the more we will see of advertisers. And I think that's the challenge. I mean, in Egypt, the whole advertising market in a year is what Germany does in 1 week. So I think,
a lot of
yeah,
potential.
so there is a huge opportunity here for creators to come up. And I think most of us would agree on, we are looking for content, and our challenge is always to find the good talent, the good script. So actually, there is much need for good content, and not just people who eat chocolate in front of a camera. But yeah.
Go ahead.
Just to finish on, because we look always at Europe and the US, and so, and we look at the supposedly overnight success. If you look at all the YouTubers that very successful, like Michelle Fan on beauty and so, they have taken it very seriously for years before they reach out that fame. It's a real work, it's a dedication, they are super professional, maybe not in the TV sense of the quality of the shooting, but they are very professional in what they do. And I think it's the myth of, they're uploading a video and they get 5 million views, doesn't exist. Once from time to time, but you cannot reproduce it.
Yep.
It's really, you need to build your audience, you get subscription, it's a real job.
It has to become sustainable, otherwise a one-off thing is really not monetized.
There is no
it has to be regular.
random miracle.
There was a question from Twitter about why is it YouTube? I think you answered at the beginning. You said it's the second biggest search engine. If Vimeo
YouTube,
becomes bigger tomorrow, I guess you'll jump to it.
One thing if you take SEO-wise, talking about SEO, for example, on a beauty topic, 5 years ago, 3 years, or 4 years ago, you had around 1 million times people looking for makeup in Saudi Arabia in Google search. Now those search are moved directly inside YouTube. So if you're not into YouTube, you're not reaching your audience anymore.
Yeah, true.
You like it or not, YouTube is becoming 50% of the requests of the video view in YouTube are done directly from YouTube in YouTube. So if you're not on that platform, you're missing a big part of our audience. That's what we didn't choose. We have done both.
So not only do you have to actually be present on YouTube, but you even have to now optimize your content to be searched
we're pushing
properly.
brands. We're pushing brands. Like if you choose to skip YouTube, you won't talk to your audience anymore. You're missing a big part of it. So it's not like, oh, it's YouTube or another. It's both. You have 500,000 search still on Google search, and you can answer that through that and through your own portals. But there is half of the research also done on YouTube. So if you're a brand and you're not addressing that, you're missing half of your audience.
That makes sense.
As simple as this. And it's going to be the case more and more.
I would like to add something. I mean, on YouTube, you have a lot of white space. There are a lot of people on their mobile phones, on different devices that need content to watch. On YouTube, you don't have gatekeepers. And there's this new digital language, which you just mentioned, which is optimizing. I mean, so yeah, definitely YouTube is a huge platform that you need to look at. And there are a lot of other platforms that are coming up. But
okay. That's, I mean, I guess I think you guys have locked that question down by far. Any other question?
Shadidi from Rare.com. I want to ask about your opinion today. What are the needs of any users who are going online and asking for content? What type of content they are looking for? And what are the strategies working for to develop their needs?
That's a very broad question.
Everything? No, I don't know. From how-tos to how to kill, I'm waiting for my bus, I'm going to need to kill 2 minutes. The stupid lolcat video to education to... I think just that the content is moving video. If you look at the young generation,
I think it's like asking what are people watching on TV.
But they're watching.
Okay,
I mean, there are good trends to see. I mean, YouTube just launched YouTube Kids. The most watched YouTube channels right now are really unboxing of Kinder Surprise eggs for 2 to 3 year old kids. If you have a child, try it. It's amazing. I mean, I have a 3-year-old daughter. It's weird. They watch that kind of stuff. And YouTube just launched a complete app, a complete platform for YouTube Kids. So kids content is huge. And a lot of people are looking for that. Gaming is huge, music is huge, and of course, all sorts of stuff that you see on YouTube, kind of how-to videos and parodies is what youth are looking into. And I mean, there are a few statistics that show you that the younger generations, under 30, are looking at a lot of that kind of short format content, such as Vine compilations and stuff like that.
My kids doesn't even understand TV. I have a 6 and 8 years old. They don't understand the concept of TV. They're selling YouTube. I want YouTube. They don't want TV. The little one even tried to swap the screen of the TV to change the channel. He's so used to a tablet. So I guess the big shift gonna happen in 7 to 10 years. But we're gonna have a generation who don't understand the linear TV anymore and the concept of sitting and watching something.
Yeah, I think one thing to add is it really depends on which platform you're watching a video.
Exactly.
If I'm watching a video on social media, on Facebook, there's a certain type of content that people are streaming more. If I'm watching on YouTube, if you come on my network, you're gonna see more of beauty or fashion. So on first, if you're trying to produce a content, you need to understand to whom you want to communicate that content. Second, on which distribution network you want to put it. You want to put it on YouTube, you want to put it on Shahid, or you can put it on Rahal, or you can put it on another network. I disagree with the point that YouTube is the ultimate. Yes, YouTube is one of the channels, and it's big. However, there are many other premium video content, video networks that are being formed. Shahid is one of them, or Rahal TV is another one. And there are many others of syndicators that are being formed at the moment. So if there are producers that are looking for the coming 3 to 5 years, know your audience, know the distribution, and they are going with a premium content network in terms of monetization. It has proven for us that it's much more beneficial from any other different platform.
And raise a lot of money so you can produce a scalable and sustainable amount of videos. Questions?
Hi.
Your name, please.
Mohammed.
Hi, Mohammed.
In the Gulf, influencers are rushing into Snapchat, and they're constantly producing video, and it's disposable, and there's no SEO over there, and nothing of that. Why are brands avoiding Snapchat in the region?
Okay, first, if you look at Snapchat or any user-generated content, brands are skeptical, or they don't like to jump on board at the first. First, they need to understand what type of content is being produced. Snapchat being, I look at it as a transition to highlight a certain talent, and then that specific talent needs to move to another platform where monetization. At the moment, like I mentioned, user-generated content. If you look at the millions of dollars that are invested in the region on online video, I think 1% is user-generated content.
It's also
it's always good to know that Snapchat actually has partner content that is ephemeral. They're also producing their own content that, like 4-minute shows every week that disappear.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the user-generated content for the talents that are created.
It's also about seeing who's using Snapchat now in the Arab world, and who are the brands that are interested to talk to these people as well. Worldwide, there are a lot of quick campaigns being done on Snapchat, and I don't know if it's really working here. And
Snapchat
because you still can't see the stories. I've tried it, and I can't see the stories that are generated.
Snapchat is becoming very big. But again, the brands are not moving as fast as the users. They're going to try to understand better how they can use the tool. And when they start to understand the platform, when you discuss with brands, they don't do things for the next 2 weeks or the next 3 weeks. They try to have plans, yearly plan, and etc. So when you have a phenomenon like Snapchat coming in the region, maybe Pinterest is going to be the next one, brands are looking at it, and you try to understand how you're going to use it in your mix. If there is millions of users, they're going to go into it. I agree with Rudolf on the fact they are not very comfortable with the user-generated content, because you cannot predict against what content you're going to be presented, so it's complicated. But Snapchat going to go more and more into more professional content anyway. They intend to become a video platform as well. So our strategy is to look at all the platform, try to understand how we can benefit from it, and see if we jump or not. For the moment, Snapchat is interesting. It's not mass, but it's very trending. So again, we always behind the user. We try to be as close as possible, but when you're too early, you're also burning a lot of money, because if you want to take care of Snapchat properly, you need to put a team like we do on YouTube, like we do on our own video inventory, so it's cost. So you need to choose when's the right time to jump in. I think it's going to be a no-brainer for when you target the 13 to 17 that you're going to have to jump in, but when is the real question?
If I made a campaign, how could I make people to watch it except for advertisements, or any other way? Do you have any idea? For my product, a campaign for my product.
Didn't hear the question. Can you introduce yourself and repeat the question slowly, please?
Okay, sorry. My name is Noor Ilani. I'm 16 years old. I'm a developer at Microsoft. Anyways, if I made a campaign for my product, how do I let people to watch it? How do I make people to know that I had this product? Except for advertisements. Everyone tells me use advertisements. Is there any way, or a secret, do you know?
Yeah, there's a way. I mean, if you're using YouTube, for example, there's something called YouTube Creators Hub. You can read a lot of material. It can give you some tips. I mean, you need to use a proper thumbnail that represents your video. You need to put the right title in the right language. You need to put a description with a lot of URLs that point to similar content that are related to your video. You need to put maybe some calls to action. The way even you do your video, there are a lot of material you can read on how to produce a video that works online. You should not have a huge intro that makes people skip your video, because the usual behavior online is that people just want to see in the first 3, 4, 5 seconds what this video is about. So there are things you can read on how to produce a video that could work online. I'm happy to give you some tips after the panel if you want. But yeah, there are many platforms out there that tell you how to make your video more discoverable. If you think of it, it's as if you are doing search engine optimization for video, and you want people to have your video appear in their organic search results. And this was only going to happen if your video has a lot of metadata, a lot of data about the video that is recognized by the search engine.
Okay, let me simplify it for you. If you don't want to make a campaign, you can go to an ArabNet event and present your product, and there are many people will look at it. You can present. There are a lot of similar events where you can present your product, and we can.
There are lots of opportunities that will be able to support you. I need to wrap up this panel. Thanks for your help, guys. to kind of like take you through what we more or less discovered, first of all, there has to be a matter of scale. If you cannot produce a lot of videos in a sustainable and scalable way, the odds are you're not going to be able to make it. We're talking a million views or more per month is more or less the benchmark that we're talking about these days. So it is a game of scale. The distribution is very important. The channels by which or where your content is as important as your content itself. It is the brands themselves are more and more being aware of the challenges that are required. They're finally understanding and preferring and working with online video probably even more than they are with TV. Moving content to the TV or back requires a complete change of format, a complete change of thinking and of structure. Of course, again, I think we spoke about scale a lot, and that's one of the most important things about producing video online. The three keywords that we learned today were price, quality, and speed. You have to choose two of the three, and that's usually the rule. I'd like to thank, again, my moderators and my moderator, my panelists.
You were so good.
Thank you. Hervé, Rolly, Rudolf, and Ahmed, thank you very much. Very insightful panel.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
My moderator.